First the...
It's fun. I'm sorry.
You do your cold open.
It wasn't going to be cold open. It was going to be something just horrible.
Okay, I'll save my cold open for the next one.
I don't understand why you...
What is up, Watch Fam? I'm Christian, the curator of the Theo and Harris Watch Shop.
I'm Michael, sponsored by Carl Friedrich.
Oh, Carl Friedrich!
Oh, today we're looking at a a nubuck backpack, which we'll talk about later.
Talk about it later. Thank you, Carl Friedrich.
Thank you.
All right, what is the subject today, Michael?
The Pelagos is better than the Submariner.
So
And
you're supposed to pose it as a question, and now I'm taking personal offense to the fact that you posed it as a sentence, as a statement of fact.
you're taking personal offense from me?
Yeah, well, the Pelagos isn't better than the Submariner.
Ask the Pelagos.
Stop. It's ridiculous.
Okay, but here's what I wrote. This is going to be the opening, but then you had a funny opening. Yeah. Tudor and Rolex are essentially the same company, or controlled by the same people, so they can coordinate to maximize profits, availability, different styles and stuff. But sometimes they mess up, and I think this is a good example. In a way.
So you're saying they made too good a son.
Too good a son.
Wow. The Pelagos is too good. It overshadows the father. I mean,
It's just you look at these two watches, and the Submariner is the Submariner. That's why it's a tough argument to make. Mm-hmm. But then you look at everything else with the Pelagos, and you're like, that's pretty good and cheaper. It's half the price.
Today I'm wearing my Breguet, and we'll do a wristwatch check, and then we'll get into this conversation.
Zenith Revival Shadow.
Love it.
And
you just bought another Zenith.
Hell of a watch coming.
And I just bought a Nomos.
Yes, you did.
We're all buying watches these days.
The Zenith on its way to me is insane.
Oh, this box of Malamars is light. You've been eating Malamars, Porky?
Oh, yeah. I just got back from the dentist, and they were like, you need to stop eating Malamars.
It must be full.
I was like, it's my teeth? They're like, no.
No, you fat
The motor on the chair doesn't even look like.
You know what I'm going to say first, right? Because your assertion is that the Pelagos is better than the Submariner. Do you know the first thing I'm going to say?
You're going to say, no, it's not.
No, I'm
going
to
to say it very, very aggressively,
No.
and then you're going to talk the entire times, and then the video will be too long, so
You're
then I'll just be
already
wrong.
The first thing is, what does better mean? And that's the question, right?
That's the question from Paul.
Well, it's the truth, right? We need to actually figure out what it is that we're talking about, right?
Sure.
Because no one would choose a Pelagos over a Submariner. Nobody.
Really?
Oh, I can't imagine. I can't. I mean, yes, I'm sure that someone would.
Yes. But even then, based off what?
Well, based off of a whole host of things. Number one, I think, obviously the allure of Rolex to begin with.
Of course.
Number two, if you know a little bit, or if you don't know and you're just taking a guess, which one is built better. Okay. I've never seen issues with Submariners that I've seen with Pelagi before, right? The Pelagos,
the original Pelagos,
and I love the Pelagos, but you know there are some quality control issues with the bezel that I don't know if they fixed. I really don't know.
Sure,
but these were issues.
Sure,
I think that also the fact that the Rolex and now the Rolex Submariner in its currently in its modernity, new watch for new watch, I think appeals to a larger audience because it is more culturally relevant, right?
Of course.
Forget about history. Just the material item.
Of course.
Because it is a piece of jewelry. It is a piece of status. The Tudor is not even built to be that.
But then when you say Rolex is a better piece of jewelry, Pelagos is a better watch. Because price does become a feature. We'll go back to the quality. Too.
Well, yeah, but that's where you're going, right? Because all these, I'm talking about history. I'm talking about quality. And I'm talking about general allure of the material item. And on those three things, the Rolex wins. Basically every time.
Hands down, yes.
Now, when you say better for the dollar, or if you say, is the only reason the Rolex is better because of its history.
If you're a salesman and I say, why should I get the Rolex if I don't really care if it says Rolex? Then you're like, well, it's better built. I'm like, well, yeah, of course, it's a $9,000 watch. This is $45,000.
Right.
You're like, well,
right.
Thank God they're the same brand.
Talking dollar for dollar, for me personally, black versus black, right? Not invoking, they're not bringing in the Hulk, not bringing in the white gold, right? Just black Submariner versus black Pelagos, personally. Yeah. And I can afford both. I'll be candid. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, I know how much you make.
I would choose the Pelagos.
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, the budget for a dive watch just isn't that large. I'm a dress watch guy.
Yeah.
You know, I like Cartier. I like Patek.
It's smaller.
Well, now it's smaller.
The original Pelagos,
Yes.
of course, you're right.
I would buy a Pelagos every day of the week before I bought a Submariner now.
Yeah,
100%.
Pelagos 39.
Pelagos 39.
Sure.
But I have no delusions of grandeur. I know that it's not a Rolex. I know that it's not better, and I know that it's not. It's better for me,
Right.
For sure.
Right.
But it is not. It is not a better watch.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
I will say, to me, the difference, and including price. Well, actually, let's not include price fully. I just think it's a rivaling watch. Even if I had this one or this one, they cost the same. I'd be like, wow, well, this is still very well. Unless, of course, I get one with quality control issues. Like,
Right.
wow, well, this is titanium. The brushing on the ceramic on the outside, I think, is beautiful.
They pay very close attention. And then if you want to have even a deeper conversation and say, okay, I can see why maybe the Rolex would be more expensive. You talk about the in-house caliber. Well, Tudor has one too, but okay, if you want to,
theirs is based off
yes.
of other things, so
Right.
We'll get into this in a second too.
But explain the $5,500 delta.
And then I can't get one.
Right, well, that's another whole other thing, right?
Yeah.
But even just explain I'm not saying the Rolex isn't better, but is it $5,500 better? Is it twice as good?
That's the part where it's
now
like,
that's a question, right? The Tudor quality, the bracelet. I mean, again, barring that bezel issue,
with strap.
the strap extra, exactly.
Yeah.
I have a hard time saying the delta is justified. Of course, once you bring in the fact that it's a Rolex, and the
Yes.
Tudor will never be,
Yes.
fine.
We will, and we're not solo in this, pay more just because of the brand. This watch looks exactly like a Patek,
Right.
but I want the Patek.
Right.
It's like, and it's probably even easier to service if it's like a watch with an ETA movement.
It is, yeah.
But I
yeah,
want
yeah.
the Patek because I look at it, I'm like, oh, it's a cool watch. It's
Yes.
like a cool Patek.
Yes.
Rolex definitely has that effect.
Yes, Tudor's fantastic, but we'll never be Rolex.
So
little brother.
There's one thing, I'll read the stats to you real quick, and then there's one thing that I think is interesting. I'll toss it at the end. But
Before we get into that,
Yeah.
we ought to talk about Carl Friedrich. For a
yeah,
second. We recently got in the City Hopper backpack,
That's correct.
which is amazing. It's an amazing nubuck backpack. I think it's incredibly stylish.
Yes.
I was excited to get it in because I already have and regularly use the portfolio, the briefcase, as well as the carry-on luggage that I got from Carl Friedrich. Across the board, the quality has been fantastic. So even the backpack, I was excited. And the nubuck backpack is gorgeous. Particularly the colors that I love the most were the chocolate brown and
Yes.
the olive. Those are my style, really.
I like black.
Yeah, but beautifully designed backpacks.
I will also say it is very difficult to do a leather backpack that doesn't look weird.
I
Leather,
agree.
everything else is fine, but
Yeah.
backpacks, I'm like, you just wanted leather. You wanted
Yes.
something leather.
I agree.
I think nubuck is the way to go. This still looks like a modern day backpack. It'll age in beautifully, and it will because it's a combination of just Italian nubuck and vachetta leather, which is beautiful.
And it looks, with the nubuck finish, or the nubuck, that it looks like it can take wear. As
Yes.
opposed to a lot of leather items, obviously, that don't age so gracefully, that don't really embrace. You beat up a backpack. You just do. Even if you're
course.
respectful of the piece, you're going to put it on the floor, you're going to hit it against things. It just happens.
Yeah.
And this backpack, not only conceptually, but also in practice, like everything else that Carl Friedrich has made that I've touched, fantastic quality, durability. I'm extremely pleased with this product. And frankly, at this point, I'm not even surprised.
And last thing I'll say is that we use a backpack when we're shooting with LMF, which is very, very large profile clients.
Yep.
And now we exclusively use the City Hopper backpack just because the goal of LMF is to be elevated.
Exactly.
So we want a very nice looking backpack that I have my headphones, audio recorders, laptops, cell phones, chargers, other cables in.
And
it just looks a lot better.
It looks rich.
And it works because people are like, oh, nice backpack.
Exactly.
Much better.
Much better. So thank you so much to Carl Friedrich. Do we have an offer for our fans?
Yes, we do. You can check out the City Hopper backpack following the link in the description, and you can use our code THHA15 to save 15% at checkout.
I highly recommend you do it. I have personally told not only myself, but my friends, my personal friends, to buy
yeah.
Carl Friedrich because that's how good they are. And my buddy Sam, for one, bought a portfolio that he absolutely loved. And another friend bought actually the carry-on. Fantastic stuff.
It really is.
No hesitation in recommending it. Go ahead and shop Carl Friedrich.
So So Pelagos, 39 millimeters, 0.2 millimeters thinner than the Submariner. Mm-hmm. I think that is a level that is indiscernible. Mm-hmm. You'll never be able to tell.
I agree with
that. But from Tudor, that is a big deal, that it is slim. Mm-hmm. Tudor is not known to be slim.
Yeah, a lot of their watches, Heritage Chronograph, etc., a little bit of hockey pucks.
This, not. You've seen a Submariner, it's actually a little bit thinner, which I really like.
Yeah. I mean, moving down to 39 millimeters from 42 was just a huge deal.
Everybody was like, oh, I think I want that watch.
Because the Pelagos was always beautiful for me, particularly in blue.
Same.
The blue, especially, I just love.
Stunning. Yeah.
So I know in Tudor fashion, they'll be releasing new colors, and I'm looking forward to seeing what colors they're releasing because I would probably pick one up. I mean,
same.
Yeah.
I want this.
It's a great watch.
I don't think it's the most exciting. I'd rather they do it in blue.
Yes. I wouldn't do it in black. I would definitely do it in blue, or I would do it in, I don't know, who knows what the hell they release.
Whatever, sterling silver, Pelagos, you'd be in.
Yeah, I'd be in.
Yeah. 200 meter water resistance, 70-hour power reserve, complimentary strap, which we'll talk about at the end, just because it looks like something. And then the Submariner, which you can tell right away is better polishing, different material. This is stainless steel.
It's a total different theory behind the Submariner. It's no longer a tool watch. It's a piece of jewelry. Is it capable of tooling? Yeah, of course, but it's not.
But 41 millimeter case, a little thicker, 0.2 millimeters, 300 meters water resistance. You get the oyster bracelet, which is similar.
Shockingly similar to the Tudor.
It's shockingly similar. And you get a 70-hour 3230 movement. So that is Rolex's in-house, which I know Tudor is too, but Tudor is based off ETA, which everybody's kind of based off something similar. But still, Rolex is Rolex. So you get the 70-hour, same power reserve, little better water resistance. Then other than that, different size and different design philosophy.
Yes, exactly. Similar watches, certainly brother and brother or cousins or whatever. Yeah. But they are very different. Yes. They are very different, and I think that at $4,400, the Tudor represents a ton of value. You don't have to be nuts to buy the Rolex, but I do think you have to be nuts to not ask yourself, does the Tudor fit me better?
Beautiful way of saying that. Yes.
That's it. You'd be crazy for that.
Before we get into the last design principle, or the little bonus I think you can get with the Pelagos, you have a totally different watch that you brought.
Yes. So let's talk about it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to One Sweep, where Christian has 60 seconds to talk about a watch in the Theo and Harris watch shop. Are you ready?
Oh, my God. This is such a gorgeous... This is an A. Lange & Arcade, one of the original watches from A. Lange & first collection in 1994. It's cased in 18-karat yellow gold. It has that classic Lange large date. This watch does come complete with its original box and papers. I was astonished when I found it. I've been looking at these watches for so long, and I just never been able to find one. It fits so well on the wrist. It fits like a Cartier Tank Louis, male or female for sure. You're not going to find a better quality watch in its category, meaning dress and precious, at this price point. Not even close. The comparable Cartiers, and I love Cartier, are far, far lesser on the actual construction quality end. This is an in-house German silver movement from Lange. When this watch was released in 1994, the world exploded, right? That's what Lange has always represented to the world, right? This just bizarre trailblazer, this underdog of German quality, history revisited and improved upon. It's just crazy stuff. So I am so lucky to have this watch that was more than a minute, but too fucking bad.
Whatever.
Head on over to the Theo and Harris shop and take a look at not only this watch, but our entire collection of vintage Rolex, Omega, etc.
Okay, last thing. It's very stupid. It's just a side note, but you typically find the Oysterflex bracelet on precious metal Yachtmasters and the Daytona.
Yes.
Tudor includes this one-link rubber bracelet. Discount Yachtmaster.
Discount Yachtmaster, yeah.
That's the only thing. I looked at that and I was like, oh my God. And it comes with the watch.
It's great.
I would wear that all the time.
I think that when you're spending thousands of dollars on a watch, it's nice when they throw in a strap. Build it into the price.
I think it's very funny to look at Tudor as such a value prop, because it is, but it's also, you're just like, oh, right, you can do that. You know what I mean? Oh, right, you are making quite a bit of money. I think about that when you get a Speedmaster box.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, that's right, you're
beautiful
Omega.
Polished wood, and it opens up, and there's all this stuff. I'm like, oh, right, you're not really operating on
slim margins. I forgot that you're rich. Yeah, exactly.
And I think Tudor's a great way of showing that, where Rolex, you get the beautiful box, you get the Rolex.
Yes.
Tudor is well, how about a free strap, and a nice box, and a this, and
Exactly. No, I listen, I love these watches. Obviously, again, sports watches aren't my jam always, but I can't help but to, recognize the value that the Pelagos brings. And again, personally, I wouldn't get the black. I have no interest in black. Right. But I would go with a blue one in 2 seconds. Literally, no doubt. So that's it.
That's it.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.